Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad you decided to tune in. Joined by a very, very, very not as whiny Coach Holt as he was this time last year because the Dodgers won both games in Japan, Coach, huh?
not near as whiny at all. No, Case. There's the old fair weather fan here, the old coacher, up and down, up and down. Even though we preach, stay on even kill, especially in baseball. I got my moments up and down, but no, it's all good right now, baby. We're going to win them all. We got 160 more to win.
We do, Coach. You cannot go 162-0 if you don't win your first game,
That's right. That's right. Yeah. We can't do it. 2-0 and we're rolling. Let's go.
So, got to see the drip, Coach. The hat's pretty sweet. Got to see the drip, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, World Champions 2024, huh?
The clubhouse edition, the old Fanatics shirt, man. They popped them up on sale there. I was like, I'm all over that on Fanatics. Yeah. So, it's cool. Got to have the stuff,
So, have you pre-ordered the 2025 shirt yet?
I'm getting ready.
You're getting ready, huh? Getting ready.
Case, I think me and you coach enough.
Yes.
I'm a big-time fan and sometimes a fair weather fan when I shouldn't be, but I should know better being a coach for all those years like you. But, yeah, I know everybody. Yes, I mean, let's face it. It's a 2025 World Champs or bust. So that's just the way it is. That's the way it is being a Dodger. And I assume that's the way it is in the Yankee culture too.
Yeah. And there is not one single person in the front office, Dave Roberts, any of the players, that would want anybody else to have a different mentality than that, right?
No, as we mentioned, we've got over this numerous times. The front office, those guys did amazing work, continue to do amazing work. From the Dodgers ownership down, has been amazing what they've done with this organization. I find it funny how the Dodgers are getting some of that hate now. I can remember in the 70s, before you were born, well, you might have been born, but everybody hated the Yankees for the same reason. They were getting all the big stars. They had all the money. They were spending all the money, winning world championships. Everybody hated their guts. I hated them because they beat the Dodgers a couple times. I kept it simple. I didn't hate them the rest of the time.
Right.
But, that type of deal. And now you see the Dodgers getting that. But I'll go back just a few years ago. We talked about this case. I felt like the Dodgers weren't doing anything. I said, we got all this tons of money, and I don't want to get back into talking about the former stars that they were on their downside than we got them. So I don't, if they've got the money, they're doing it. It's amazing. If they didn't win a World Series, nobody'd give a crap. They would never bring it up. 2 years, guys, nobody gave a crap, when they didn't win the World Series. So, I thought they're the best team in baseball that year, and they got beat the first round. So that's just me being a fan and a baseball guy. I think it was just kind of proven they might have been, but didn't win it all. So as we all know in baseball, from the little league level up, best team doesn't always win. Usually the cream rises to the top in a 7-game series, though.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to give a shout-out again to Steven Nelson. He's half Japanese, and he has done just a wonderful job bringing the Japanese culture. So many times when you do that, it's just such a professional art to bring that culture and the human side of things into the broadcast without taking away from the action on the field. He's been able to do it while, I think, enhancing the action on the field. So I just think Steven Nelson, this has been meant a lot to him because he is half Japanese, and this trip to him is very personal. So I know he did a ton of homework. And I just wanted to say, hey, A+, job well done to Steven Nelson, because I know this meant a lot to him.
Well, I agree with you, Case. And is it just it's a breath of fresh air to not be in the stadium, but you get that feeling every time they show the crowd, just the smiles on people's face. Mm-hmm. Even the one, if they had Cubs stuff on or Dodgers, or last year with the Padres when they were on their trip, but it's just such a refreshing, the joy these people have of watching Major League Baseball in their stadium. They said they were there 90 minutes before the game started. The thing was packed, Yes. It's just an event. And I don't know a whole lot about the Japanese culture. I know what I do know. I got a nephew over there right now going to Temple University in Tokyo, and he loves it over there. We may not get him to come back. I don't know. But
oh, wow.
Yeah, he really loves it over there. And he's learning Japanese and doing all that stuff. So, and he said how he loves it for the same reason. It's clean, the culture. He said the people are amazing. They're not crazy about Americans sometimes, but I know they love the American game of baseball. So, but it's so refreshing when you see the joy on people's faces when they show the crowd. And of course, they showed Ohtani all the time. I assume as a Japanese guy on the TV camera, they showed Ohtani in the dugout 400 times. And, okay, that's good. But, but is such a phenomenon, and that these great players, even the Cubs, great Japanese players, and of course, maybe the greatest of all time could be Ohtani. It was all said and done, and for him to get a home run today and all that stuff, and the fan just loved. They showed love to all the Japanese players. They showed love to all the players. The only time they may have come close to booing is when they walked Ohtani down. I guess this is booing in Japanese. I saw a bunch of fans doing this. It's either good. I guess that just means what the hell. I don't know what that means. We showed the fans all these guys are doing this, so they weren't giving it this. So they were even being somewhat cultural in their booing. They were doing this. So I don't. They were pissed that they walked Ohtani. Yeah. So was I. But whatever.
Yeah, they absolutely were. Okay, so I don't like to do this very often, but the last time we talked, and we talked about Roki Sasaki getting the ball on opening weekend, not having any Major League experience whatsoever, going back to Japan. Your Major League debut, for one, you're going to be super nervous to begin with. And then when it's for the Dodgers, a team that you just said right off the top of this show, it's World Series or bust, then it's in front of your home crowd in Japan. There was just no way of getting around the fact that these people are human. Roki Sasaki was going to have nerves. He showed that. I'll tell you what, Coach, it wasn't the fact that he had nerves that was anything of interest to me. That was going to be obvious. We talked about that in our last show. It was the fact that his stuff was so explosive and dominant that even though he had not good command or control at all because of the nerves, his stuff was so good he was still able to get through the bases loaded jam. I thought that was big for him. Yep. And he was still able to only give up the 1 run in 3 innings, which just goes to show how good his stuff actually is.
No, he was, it's amazing. The commentators made a comment, first 2 pitches were 100 miles an hour out there. So any questions, I think A.J. Przinsky said, any questions about his arms, that answers that right there with the first 2 pitches being 100 miles an hour. We were fortunate that he didn't get hurt big time there. He had a couple of good swings at him. Tucker scared me. Tucker's a great player. That's a good pickup for the Cubs. What a great player. Power to all fields, and he's just been an elite player for a long time. So the Cubs had some good pickups. I think they're going to be a decent team as time goes on.
How good is Tommy Edman? Of course, yesterday he had the first RBI of the year with the opposite field hit. And then he had the nice slide into second, which kept the double play from happening, which led to the second run. Then he hit the ground ball that advanced Shohei Ohtani to score another run there in the 9th inning. So he had 3 great at-bats in terms of executing the offensive side of baseball. Then today he hits the home run on the high pitch. Yeah. I mean, it's like Tommy Tanks just showed off his entire arsenal of how to execute the entire game of baseball all in like his first 4 at-bats. Pretty impressive.
That's the reason why the Dodgers coveted him before they actually got him. There's always word because he was injured. We talked about this last year quite a bit before they got him. That's why they re-signed him. He's a ball player. He's a coach's kid. He just understands the game. He can play a lot of positions, but he plays them all on a high level. He can. It's kind of like Kike. Kike can play. And Chris Taylor. They've got some hybrid guys. The Dodgers do. He's the best of the whole bunch. Obviously, as far as the whole game, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Tommy, obviously he's starting every day.
I totally agree.
Yeah, so he's the best of the whole bunch. But we do have some guys that can do that. But yeah, that's what we talked about last year. Okay, I mean, look at the guy. I mean, the World Series, and he just produces. He makes winning baseball plays on defense and offense, and just contributes. And you can just tell that's a baller. That's the guy you want. He's probably, I don't know what he's like before and after the game. I'm sure he's in the cages before. I'm sure the off season he's working on his game, and he's just a ball player. And you don't see a lot of guys like that. You do. Major league players are the elite of the elite. I get that, but I'm just saying a guy that can do so many things with winning baseball plays and do them well on both sides.
So it's the high school effect. As a high school coach, depending on who's pitching that day, your whole entire defense shifts and changes and that kind of deal. Sometimes in the major leagues, it's based on the other pitcher, like Andy Pages got the starts because you had left-handed starters and that kind of deal. So the way that you start your lineup is you figure out all of your periphery guys, your fringe guys, like, okay, this guy's an everyday, so is he in today, or who has to play second because so-and-so is pitching? And so you throw all that together, and then you're able to do all that because at the end of that, you have Tommy Edman that you can plug in wherever everybody else didn't plug in. And that is just such an absolute valuable tool to have as a manager, to be able to throw together whatever lineup you can for that day, knowing that you have Tommy Edman to make it all work at the end of it.
No, that's as you mentioned, fit on a lineup card every day. He can go anywhere. He can play anywhere in the outfield, and probably anywhere. Probably play first base. He can play anywhere on the field. Probably has caught sometime in his lifetime. Yeah. So that's a great thing for Dave. Every day he's filled out his card. How we're going to plug it. Let's don't forget the fact the Dodgers went 2-0 against a good Cubs team without Mookie and Freddie.
Yes, absolutely.
That gives you an idea what type of depth that Dave has. Of course, it's going to be key what worked by the bullpen. I think we walked some guys today, probably more we did yesterday, but the bullpen has a chance of being elite. Hey, get you some of Trine in the 8th inning and Tanner Scott in the 9th. It's 6 outs of unhittable. Get you some of that. Trine and sweeper is unhittable at times, and I think you mentioned on a post you had about Scott. He's just the elite stuff right there. And Kasparis got to pitch yesterday.
Yeah.
And the guys today, you got Landon Knack in there for a couple innings. You got, the Dodgers have a chance. We know about health of pitchers, but the bullpen is taking on a good look and a good Yates. You got Yates on there. You got a veteran guy that can come in and, he's blowing it by people at 93. I think AJ brought that up.
Yeah.
These guys can't catch up to him. He's still at 93. He's still on the lower end of the major league velocity. The guy's a pitcher. The guy's a gamer. He's a veteran. What a great pickup for the Dodgers there. And I think they did some things to obviously with Scott and Yates and those guys. They've done some. Again, here's a front office again. These guys are killing it. Making moves to help make the Dodgers a better team, and it's obvious for those two cats, along with some other guys. That you got guys making your major league debut, and
the Maytag.
Yes, today that's your guy. But that's good to see. There looks good. The bullpen is going to be a key, like it is for every team.
So the difference between, I said this yesterday, see if you agree with this. The difference between the Dodgers winning 90, 92, 93, maybe 95 games, being in a dogfight with Arizona and maybe San Diego, and then winning like 105, 110 games, is their ability to be diverse, their ability to be dynamic, their ability to, like today, they had to hit home runs to win. That's fine. Yeah. Whenever I'm talking about the small ball of the game, winning baseball plays, people want to assume that, we don't want to hit home runs. That's absolutely not the case. Home runs, if you can hit them, please, because they're guaranteed runs and they win games, no doubt. But kind of what our only point is that can't be the only way that you have to win games. It can't just be we either hit home runs and win or we don't hit home runs and lose. And like 2-3 years ago, that was literally my biggest complaint. I whined about that, I think, on every single show. And so the Dodgers in the first 2 games, they executed their way to victory yesterday. They slugged their way to victory today. Meanwhile, the entire time, they pitched and played defense. So that literally is the formula to take a team with a whole lot of talent and then also turn that into the maximum amount of wins you can get out of it.
No, I think it's when you become elite, Case.
Yes.
The best basketball team ever. I don't have a whole lot of basketball experience. 7 years at Glencoe America, which we both love. Best team I had there is when we became a team that we could play slow. If you're going to come out, hold the ball on us, it's not a shot clock, high school basketball. We can play slow and beat your tail in. If you want to come out in full court press, we'll run you out of the gym. That's when we became elite. Now we were only state runner up because I'm a crappy coach, but we got to play in the big house, had a chance. But I'm just saying that's when we became elite. So whatever anybody threw at us, we had a chance. You know what I'm saying? We were successful because whatever you want to do, we got an answer for it. I think just what you just said, the Dodgers have executed like today. One of them was a pass ball. I hope they call it a pass ball. Got it damn near a strike, but we got to run into sacrifice fly 2-0, and there you go. But you're playing the game right there. You're getting runners on, and you like you always say, get them on, move them in. So, the Dodgers are able to do both. Obviously, they got, leadoff guy with the 50 freaking home runs and 54 stolen bases or whatever we had last year. But, they can hit the home run. But I'm like you. A few years ago, that's all it was all about. And they weren't successful. And we've seen the playoffs last year, of course, we go back to the big inning against the Yankees, the 5th inning, executing, they had a couple of blunders. They screwed up. They opened the door for you, but you still had to get big base hits from T. Oscar and Freddie.
Yeah,
that drove in the runs to tie the freaking game up. We still could have had somebody pop up and still been down 5-1 or 5-2. You know, so there's a lot to win into that. But you got key base hits when you had opportunity. So if you need to bang, you're going to be able to bang. But the reason the Dodgers are elite now, and any team usually comes that way, because they play it any way you want to go. You know, if a day calls for it, wind's blowing in. You're playing at Wrigley, the wind's blowing in. You got to lay it down. You got to move runners. You got to steal.
Tommy Edman has to have a day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Cubs can steal bases, by the way. They can. They got a nice ball club. I think they're going to have a good year this year.
Good manager.
It's a good manager they got over there. They had some good pickups, man. They had some good pickups. Even their pitching staff and. Yeah, I'm not taking anything away
from the Cubs. They're just off right now. That happens in baseball.
Yeah, they're just and again they're playing. You know what I'm saying? They're playing the best team. Yamamoto was great yesterday. The Dodgers bullpen's elite, especially the guys that threw yesterday, and the guys today did a good job too. So, it's just off. I mean, it's the first 2 games of the year, but I wouldn't count the Cubs out for anything. They got the manager, and they seem to have a good ball club in their division over there. We'll see what happens though.
So, how do you handle Will Smith? I hand over the reins to you for Will Smith. He's been the best catcher in baseball for the first half. I know Joe Davis has hit on this 2 or 3 times on the broadcast, and he's absolutely correct. Been the best catcher in baseball, hands down, the first half of the last 3 seasons. The last half of the last 3 seasons, just kind of the attrition of catching every day, having to catch too much, has caught up to him, and he hasn't been near as good. And so I think that falls in the lap of Austin Barnes. I think Dodgers fans have had a right to complain about that situation at certain different times. So I hand the reins over to you for Will Smith, giving you that information. What is your game plan there, Coach?
Well, the guys are going to make that decision, have way more of the analytics. They got the paperwork like the Austin Brubaker notebooks in front of them. They got all the information they need.
But they haven't figured it out yet because he hasn't been good in the second half. No. Yeah.
What you do in case, like anything in life, you go back and see, here's what we did before. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we did there. It didn't work. So you try to piece that together and come up with a plan. Now, thank God he was good in the playoffs. I mean, he came back, but he had a down period. They had to rest him some. It's good to have an Austin Barnes as your backup, though. The guy can play. I assume he'll be getting more time, but like you said, that's a tough situation. You got to figure it out. They haven't been able to do it yet. It's a trial and error deal. So whatever you're coming up with now, you got to get him some more rest early in the season. I don't know, but it's hard to do. That's just. I don't know how they do it in NBA basketball. I know those guys, they got in trouble all the time management and all that stuff, and all that kind of crap. But even though Jordan played all 80, 82, 81 games, whatever. But, it's a whole different deal. But I know they've got the information. I'm sure they'll have another plan this year. I say they because I really don't have – my plan is what I just said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try something different.
Here's the things we've done that haven't worked.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna sit down with some guy. Okay, so now what's our plan now?
Yeah.
I'm sure they've got one, but you definitely got to have one because one of the best catchers in the game, and he's just getting wore down. But I'd feel a lot worse if we didn't have Austin Barnes to back up. I mean, most backup major league catchers are good catchers.
So here's the problem. You said the Cubs can steal bases. Austin Barnes, I love Austin Barnes. AB's my favorite Dodger.
Yep.
He's the first one I got to talk to when they came to Oklahoma City in 2015. He was the first player that I kind of grew an admiration for as far as watching in Oklahoma City. Then I got a chance to talk to him on several different occasions. Talked to him about JT Realmuto, who they both got drafted by the Marlins and played together. And he asked about where Midwest City's at, where JT's from, and all that kind of stuff. Because I coached against JT and all that kind of thing. So. Yep. Austin Barnes, I get defensive when people talk about AB, and I'm not going to apologize for that because I like him. He's been just a great Dodger. Having said that, I mean, you can't just hide around the fact he can't throw anybody out. You just mentioned the Cubs steal a million different bases. The stolen base is becoming a bigger part of the game.
Yep.
So what is the solution here?
Austin Barnes has an opportunity, to play. And obviously, he's a major league catcher. Even the backups are major league catchers. I mean, they're not a backup catcher in the major leagues if you can't play, can't throw a little bit. Obviously, some guys throw better than others. Some, pop times, we can get into all that stuff too if you want. But pitchers have to help you out too. I think Bush today, I couldn't remember who the guy was. I looked it up. Bush gets a running start on his team.
Yeah.
I mean, I get Birdie. Birdie can fly. I mean, you get that sort of thing. They show without a throw. Bush still second base.
Forever, everybody else didn't plug in. And that is just such an absolute valuable tool to have as a manager, to be able to throw together whatever lineup you can for that day, knowing that you have Tommy Edman to make it all work at the end of it.
No, that's as you mentioned, fit on a lineup card every day. You can go anywhere. You can play anywhere in the outfield. It is probably more of a part of Major League Baseball again.
Yep, and hey, I'll tell you what, it was really cool, Coach. We talked about yesterday. Yates Experience did make his Major League debut yesterday, but him and Anthony bonded, two great stories. Today you had Landon, Knack, and Jack Dreyer. Jack Dreyer got to make his Major League debut. This is a young man that, of course, made his college debut against Oklahoma State back in 2019 and absolutely shoved it right to OSU. I remember that like it was yesterday at Iowa. Then had shoulder problems, then 2020 hit, and then he had Tommy John. So coming into 2023, he just literally almost pretty much hadn't thrown since high school. Just hit the ground running, has been simply just absolutely awesome since then. All the way, I mean, it's like a Edgardo Henriquez type of scent. Not quite as dramatic as Edgardo, but how about just the rise of the Maytag Jack Dreyer? He gave up the run today. He had the ground ball that was hit back to him, and then your boy Dansby Swanson nailed a double on him. Hey, it happens. I don't care. I could give a rat's ass at what I know Jack walked off. You could see it on his face.
Yeah.
He's so competitive. He was like, God dang it, man. He was so pissed that he didn't field that ball or whatever, and I get that. But whenever you sit back and evaluate, no analysis from me today, total celebration for what Jack Dreyer, the Maytag, has been able to do. Congratulations, Jack.
No kidding. It's great to have your he should have been out of the inning right there.
Yes.
By the way, how do you give a hit on that? I mean, that should have been in the air, but that's not.
Well, I think because it's the error on the pitcher.
Then he started running, like he thought he had it too. So.
Oh, so they gave it a hit?
Yes. I think they gave it a hit.
I just assumed they gave it an error, and because it was on the pitcher, it was earned.
I'll have to go back and look. I'm pretty sure they gave it a hit, but I may be wrong. They did originally. They may go back and change that. I hope they did, but they were talking about it on the broadcast. They called it a hit, so I know we can go back and look that up. But anyway, that's his play. Yeah, he's going to be kicking himself. He could have got out of the inning in his Major League debut with no runs. And Dansby Swanson, he's an elite player. He top pick in the draft a few years ago, and he's guy's a freak. I wish the Dodgers would have got him years ago. But anyway,
they did give it a hit, Coach. Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought. I mean, because it hit right in his glove, and he actually thought he had it. Kind of took a few steps.
Yeah.
It's not. I get the too hot to handle. That was a one hopper back to the mound or whatever. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But it count those. I guess the runs will be earned now, so it does go against him. He'd probably rather take an error there. That would have been an unearned run. But anyway, that's great for him. And I know you followed his career very closely as he's coming up, and to make that debut there, in Tokyo against the Cubs on national TV, worldwide TV. It's got to be exciting for Dreyer, and he performed well. He performed well right there. I mean, Dansby Swanson's going to double off a lot of people. That crap happens. It's just the way it is. So, but to get that first inning out of the way, and, now just keep moving forward, young man. Let her rip.
Yeah, no doubt. Landon Knack, I thought was very impressive.
Yep.
He's what I call a professional glove hitter, Coach, meaning he doesn't even care who the hitter is. His job as a pitcher in his mind is just to hit the glove with 4 different pitches. He got to all 4 different pitches. He threw strikes with all of them. Today, I know, very small sample size.
Sure.
But if you want to know what Landon Knack is like whenever he is really, really good, just go watch the inning today. 4 different pitches, all parts of the different strike zones, up, down, in, out, change speeds. He has good carry. I mean, his RPMs on his fastball is like 2,400, something like that. So it's good. I mean, the carry is good. But so by the time you take the carry, that makes it look faster to the hitter, and then the fact that he changes speed so well, you have to honor all 4 pitches of the hitter. It really makes that 93, 94 mile an hour fastball play up. So I thought Landon Knack did a great job.
I agree. And the great thing about him, he's been a starter too. He started some for the Dodgers last year. It's a guy that can use in a lot of different roles right there. And he had some big time touches last year in important games, World Series and in playoffs. So he had some great touches on that also. So so he's proven he can perform when the pressure's on too. Mm-hmm. So and he can do a lot of things. You ever need an extra starter, put him in there. He's ready to roll.
Yeah. So you got you mentioned Trinan and Tanner Scott and all these guys. So the best way to keep them healthy is for guys like Landon, Knack, Ben Kasperius, Jack Dreyer to continue to pitch well, because then Dave feels like he can run them out there in big situations,
right,
and you're not having to just wear out, your top 3 or 4 guys over and over and over. So, and on a team in 162, now in the playoffs it's different. You go with your dudes. We see that. That's why it's harder to hit in the playoffs. But over 162, the guys like Landon Knack and Jack Dreyer and Ben Kasperius, by them performing very well, they keep you away from the massive amount of innings on your A-team guys. And that ends up being just as big of a factor as your A-team guys dominating.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
The Dodgers talked about, they probably may still do it. They're going to go to 6-man, when Ohtani starts throwing, if he starts throwing at some point, and what role they're going to use him in. That's the same thing. The Dodgers the last 2 years have experienced, big time problems on the mound with injuries and that sort of thing. But again, that's all over the big leagues case. It just happens to be the team that we follow closely. I think the Braves lost their whole rotation last year. Like the Dodgers did the year before. So that's just it's just the way it is in baseball now anymore. You even see at the high school, college level, more injuries coming along there. And again, that's a whole nother week's full of shows to try to delve into that, which we won't get into now.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things going on there. So the Dodgers, if they can do the 6-man or even a 5-man, that's going to help those up top line guys and keep them from throwing too many innings. And when you get down the playoff situation, you're ready to go. That 6-man rotation, that's unheard of. It's kind of like throwing a bullpen game in a freaking World Series in the playoffs when you're fixing to get eliminated. Yeah. Oh, here's what we're going to do. We're going to throw a bullpen game. What?
Yeah.
And you kick ass. But anyway.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers are trendsetters in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Kirby Yates, I thought, was very impressive. Of course, the splitter wasn't landing like he wants. Joe mentioned that he said the splitter feels good, and that's obviously his calling card. But I thought the last 2 pitches were telling as to why Kirby Yates is so good. You look at a guy and you go, 93? I mean, why is he better than everybody else?
Yep.
Well, he turned that second to last one right, which means as a right-handed hitter, that's boring in on your hands. That's coming in on your hands, which means now you got to kind of open up a little bit sooner to make sure you don't get jammed. Well, as soon as he did that, then he just rode that straight fastball at the top of the zone. Hitters pulling off of it. 93 now is blowing the doors off of major league hitters.
Absolutely.
I thought that was very pro sequencing, very pro execution. I thought that more so than just watching the splitter that we know he has, just kind of showed, that's why Kirby Yates has been so good.
Yeah, he's been good for a long time. And, like I said, as I mentioned earlier, it's a great pickup for the Dodgers. It's the same thing with Sasaki's splitter. He couldn't control it. But I always go back to years ago, Bruce Sutter with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Me and Rex sitting there watching the game one time, maybe in the playoff game, we were pissed off. They beat us, whatever happened. I don't remember what it was. But Bruce Sutter sitting there, I don't think he threw a pitch in a freaking zone because it just disappeared. It may start out in the zone, but the time it got to the plate, it was out of the zone, and guys are looking stupid swinging at it. So as I was watching Sasaki today, I'm thinking, boy, he sure throw a lot of splitters out of the zone, but I thought, well, hell, he may not know where it's going half the time. I mean, he knows what the action he's going to get.
Oh, they don't. Trust me.
I think he goes right and left. I think they said Roberts.
But that's also what makes it good, because they don't know where it's going. You can't predict it.
The damn hitters don't know where it's at either. So that's a devastating pitch. And he'll be fine. He just got to get a bit better control. And it's a one game. Come on now. I mean, the guy, it's his first experience. As you mentioned, we don't know what he went through once he got over there. It's his home country.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. This is you're making your major league debut in your home country against the Cubs in the Tokyo Dome. Come on now. It'd be different if you're in Colorado in front of 30,000, or wherever, Tampa Bay in front of 5,000, wherever the hell they get there. But anyway. Or Oakland.
Well, and Yamamoto struggled last year. I mean, that was in Korea.
Absolutely. So, there's those things that, you give a guy a pass on those major league debuts. Same thing with Dreyer, even though Dreyer about got out of it without anything. But, you get those opportunities. And I like to make up the club. You're going to have, you hate saying it, there's going to be injury issues. You can't play 162 games without having injuries on both sides.
Already had them.
Freddie's already got a little ding up, and good Lord, does Mookie Betts have 15 pounds to lose?
Yeah,
that guy's probably body fat of 1%. I don't know where the hell he could lose 15 pounds at. That's really concerning. Whatever he's dealing with there. Good Lord, it doesn't sound good though, Case. I mean, it doesn't. It really doesn't. This has been extended. This has been extended illness. I'm not a doctor, but I'm also not an idiot. There's something going on pretty bad there. That a lot of concern for Mookie there as far as getting his strength back.
Yeah. Totally agree, Coach. And then also on the injury front, Michael Kopech and Evan Phillips, we haven't seen them yet. Yep. So it's already started. 162, you did so much depth. Coach, it's great to see your face. I love you. Any final thoughts here?
Just great. The Dodgers are 2-0, and they can go back. They get back to America and kind of get back into the time zone, get their bearings back, and do some more work in spring training. Get ready for the stateside opener. But it's getting here, Case. It's time, and it's good. It's great to get out there and play 2 games. It means something. You can pitch some people. The Cubs got a great opportunity. Looking at their end of it, they threw a different guy every inning for you. They got a lot of guys with touches on the mound. So I think it was very good for both teams. The Cubs obviously didn't want to lose 2, but they probably learned a lot about their club too, just in 2 games. It's because you played games that mean something. Same way with the Dodgers, they learned some things too about their team. I tell you what, a lot of things you learn about the Dodgers. That bullpen looks elite, and that's great news. The
Dodgers got in every single pitcher except for Matt Sauer, who I think they got everybody in they got every pitcher on some time on the mound except for Matt Sauer, who was just brought up today and replacing Justin Wroblewski. So it was a great weekend for the Dodgers, a great trip. It's going to be a great season. So for Coach Holt, I'm Casey Porter. I want to thank you for tuning in to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. And as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.